This meeting of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, can you please call roll?
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Present.
Freeholder Jones.
Present.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Here.
Freeholder Toro.
Present.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Here. Thank you. Please stand to salute our flag. I'm going to ask Freeholder Toro to please lead us in the salute.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is indeed in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, yes. There are 4. Conference meeting, September 7, 2016, board meeting, September 14, 2016, conference board meeting, August 10, 2016, and August 24, 2016.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders, are there any questions or comments? Mr. McInerney?
No comments, Madam President.
Mr. Palavecchio?
No, I don't have any comments, Madam President.
Do you have a mover and a second to approve these meeting minutes? Moved by Freeholder Toro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Now we're moving to public comment session. If there's any members of the public who are here tonight that would like to comment on agenda items only, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right.
Good evening. My name is James Troisi, Troisi. I'm a state delegate for the Fraternal Order of Police here in New Jersey. Here tonight to represent the superior officers at the Essex County Department of Corrections. Speaking against Resolution 31 on tonight's agenda. The administration was kind enough to provide the various labor organizations in the county with a myriad of information regarding the switch to state health benefits. It all looks good on paper, but there's a lot of unknowns that we're very concerned about. One of the big issues for the Freeholder Board is within the literature that was disseminated. One of the bullet points says all bargaining units must agree to enter the state plan in order for the state to accept the county. I am here tonight to tell you that all bargaining units do not agree. Some of the bargaining units have yet to vote. So I don't know where that leaves the resolution and how the resolution could even be considered. We are also finding out over the course of the past week, no fault of the administrations, this is at the state level, that the rules with the state health plan are in a state of flux. And it was only this afternoon that we ourselves learned that any retiree, either a current retiree or past retiree or future retiree, who is under the age of 65 will not qualify for the NJ Direct 10 or the NJ Direct 15 plan that Connor Strong has compared the current county benefits against. They will be relegated to some kind of Medicare Advantage type plan for 10 or 15 years. Many of these people still have school-age children. The contract language, everybody keeps saying equal or better, equal or better. As long as it's equal or better, we're fine. Well, if it was really equal or better, you don't need our permission. So clearly somebody knows it's not equal or better. And more importantly, the contract language is not equal or better. The contract language is not less than those that the county currently provides. We understand that this is a financial burden for the county and the taxpayers. I myself pay well over $1,000 a month towards my health care. We get it. But there's too many unknowns here. And I can attest to you that the members that I represent not only voted no several days ago, only to within an hour of voting no, having 3 people demoted, but even knowing that, this afternoon we took another vote, and that was overwhelmingly, again, a no. I'm out of time, but I'll certainly speak to anybody at the end of tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on agenda items only?
Good evening, Ralph Johnson, 49 Carolina Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. I happen to be one of the affected people who was demoted in this retaliatory practice, and also voting no in front of you. We understand that healthcare costs are rising, but we also understand that we have to look out for the taxpayer, the employer, and the employee in acting in good faith. I disavow Resolution 31 and Resolution 6 with Connor Strong, who happens to be the representative of that union. They happen to also be the only one of the 31 resolutions that don't even have a dollar amount that exceeds 2 language or stipend language. So how could, in good faith to the taxpayer, could you actually vote on a resolution that you don't have numbers to? That being said, I hope that we have the opportunity to sit down and negotiate according to the contract language that everyone benefits. Again, if you need comment from me, I'll be here all day. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on agenda items only?
Squat. All right. David Weiner, Cedar Bay, Local 1081. Our union's address is 60 Park Place, Newark, New Jersey. But as the administration would like to say, I don't live in the county. I was actually threatened by the chairman of the Democratic Party in 1980-something for not endorsing his cousin. That's why I moved. But that's okay. His plaque is by the old 13th Avenue over there. We made up. Everything's cool. So we voted for this resolution, as did our sister local supervisor union, PESU. But we have not signed yet, and we're generally supportive of the concept until we heard from our brother the situation about the people that are in that are not Medicare eligible that would be put into Medicare rather than covered by a regular plan. That's very disturbing, and we didn't know that. We just found out tonight. While we are still supportive of the concept of the situation, I've said this to the county council before I even knew any of these issues, and frankly, we now believe it's moved too fast, too quickly. That's redundant. I'm sorry, English teacher, it's redundant. We had suggested that since the Aetna wants to increase the county's cost 10.5% in 17, and that would be passed on to the employees by our respective share under Chapter 78 of the employer's costs, which in our group is between 25 and 30, and the people making more than 75, it's 35%, which is very prohibitive. There's no reason to go into this thing in January. I think and I've said this to County Council Gassion before, the administration should take the time to sit down with the unions and get everything on the table and work this thing out correctly so that the worst that happens is you start in February 1 of 2017 where things worked out. So the county would pay 1/12 of the $10.8 million, whatever it is, and we would pay our respective share for 1 month. And then you can go in February. There's nothing that says you got to start in January. You just got to give them 90 days notice. So again, we've been supportive. We have language that we got done by the administration. We're very grateful for that, 2 of our demands. But this new information has us a little, not a little, very concerned. So I have the same concern about this being voted on tonight without the approval of all the unions and with this new knowledge coming to coming to
Time is
fore.
up.
So yes, I can see the clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on agenda items only?
Tilio Delgertio, 8 Grove Street in Belleville. I was called into a meeting last week by the FOP 106, and it was at the Hall of Records, and we met with the county, and they went over the plan. And I says, this plan, you're making it look like it's so great. I says, but I have an advantage over all of you. I retired at the end of 2010 from the county and from the state of New Jersey. I was in over 30 years with both. So I had a choice to pick whichever health plan I wanted, one with the state or the one with the county. I took the county because the benefits were overwhelmingly better than the state. So to try and say the state benefits are better when they just made a cut of $30 million to the state health benefits plan, which was approved by the health board that they have with the state, which has management people and it also has union people. And it was said, well, the unions were on it too and they approved it. One union member approved it by the PBA. He was the only one who voted yes. All the other unions voted no. And the reason he voted yes was there was a number of towns that had PBA members, that the police departments were all PBA members, that the governor withheld $50 million in discretionary funds until he voted yes for that. And then as soon as he voted yes, he released the funds. That, to me, is extortion or blackmail. And that's why it's been done. Now, from what I was told, it all had to do with the county got a bill from Aetna and it was going to be higher. And only 2 weeks ago, they said, the state said what the rates are going to be for next year. But any plan you look at for the state, it didn't take into consideration what the plan is actually going to be with all these changes. There is a tremendous amount of changes. Tomorrow morning, the shop stewards with the state unions are meeting with the state health benefits people to go over the changes in the plans that they are already in. So they made it even lower than it was before. And the county was always better than the state health benefits. So for you to approve this on such short notice, when no one even knows what the plans actually entail, to me would be a disaster. And then when you have employees and retirees screaming a year from now or months from now that they're having problems with these plans, it's on you. Because you're approving it with such short notice. And I said at the meeting I would not be entitled to New Jersey 10 and New Jersey 15, and they said I would, and then today they actually conceded that I wouldn't. Thank you.
Thank you.
Recognizing Freeholder Bobadilla, Freeholder Luciano, and Freeholder Richardson present with us. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on agenda items only?
Good evening. My name is Nzinga Toomer, 93 Chapman Place, Irvington. I also agree that on this very item, we have been given such short notice. Not every member has they haven't been explained the whole package. And to me, it's a lot of things that were said and there's a lot of things that are not being said. I agree with Brother Delgertio. We're given this on such short notice. We just got a class on workplace bullying. And to us, it seems like if you make us make this decision on such short notice, it's almost like workplace bullying. I don't understand how you can push a plan that we don't even understand. There's so many gaps and holes and everything like that. How can we possibly even consider this plan without knowing everything there is to be known? That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on agenda items only? Madam Clerk, let the record reflect there's no other member of the public wishing to comment on agenda items only. Do we have any members of the public wishing to comment regarding any issue at all? If so, please come forward. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect we have no member of the public wishing to speak on any issue at all. We are now closing public comment session. Madam Clerk, are there any ordinances or resolutions on introduction and first reading?
Madam President, there are none.
Are there any ordinances or resolutions on second reading and public hearing listing only?
Madam President, there are none.
Are there any ordinances, resolution on second reading and public hearing?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Please move to our resolutions. We're going to be moving up resolution number 31 to be first. Please read.
Madam President, this is an added starter, Resolution Number 31, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Human Resources, Resolution of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Essex, authorizing the County of Essex to enter active and retired employees into the State Health Benefit Plan effective January 1st, 2017.
Thank you. Mr. Chilala?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. The administration is anxious to proceed in this resolution. As we all know, we've had many discussions over the last 3 years, numerous union roundtables, comparing the state health plan versus our current Aetna private plan. Each year, through the evaluation of our broker, Connor Strong, it was decided that the savings were not significant enough to move into the state health plan. But this issue has been discussed with all of the unions for the last 3 years. This year, however, when the state finally came out with their renewal rates of roughly 0.01 decrease, and we were facing a 14% increase from Aetna, it was an easy decision to make, to move to the state health benefits plan. With the savings were very significant. The administration has spent many hours at various workplaces conducting seminars provided by our human resource staff, our county council staff, our broker. We spent countless hours explaining the program, providing detailed information. The argument that they need more time to study, quite frankly, I don't agree with. I think we've studied this issue enough. Dollars and cents will save the county taxpayers money. It'll save the employees money, and we would like to move forward. In regard to some items that were discussed, we believe there are some misconceptions that were presented, and I would like to have our county council address some of those issues. And we also have representatives of Connor Strong, Joe DeBella, who could also address some of the misconceptions that were presented here this evening.
Ms. Gassion?
Good evening, Courtney Gassion, Essex County Council. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. DeBella first so that he can immediately address the Medicare issue that was brought up by some members of the public and their concerns.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the Freeholder Board. Joseph DeBella with Connor Strong and Buckler. It's a pleasure to have opportunity to speak with you again this evening. I just want to comment on one of the comments that the gentleman who was from the law enforcement union had commented on, and I mean him great respect. He's very well versed on these issues, and I completely and entirely appreciate his position. There's one matter, and I had an opportunity to approach him during the session to hopefully correct this item. The comment that the gentleman had mentioned was that retirees less than 65 would be losing two benefit plans, known as Direct 10 and Direct 15. That is not the case. So the State Health Benefits Plan, which has publicly voted on their programs for calendar year 2017, have not in any way eliminated the Direct 10 or the Direct 15 plan for active employees or retirees who are less than 65. So that is not in fact changing, and we firmly and clearly represent to the trustees and quite frankly to the members of the bargaining unit that are here that those programs are not in any way being discontinued for retirees who are less than 65. Retirees who are of Medicare age today under the county's program only have one option. If they are of Medicare age, they get a Medicare Advantage plan. The state health benefit plan also offers Medicare Advantage plans to retirees who are of 65 in age and older. That won't change. And in addition, under the state health benefits plan, other options are also available to retirees who are over 65. What I can attest to you is I completely appreciate the gentleman's concern because this is all confusing. There's lots of stuff on the internet. There's different reports that can be distributed and published. It is very easy for one to be confused. But we firmly represent to you, without ambiguity, that less than 65 retirees in the state health benefit plan will continue to have the Direct 10 and the Direct 15 programs the way they do today. And we certainly hope that that eases the other bargaining unit members' concern as well once it had been represented this evening. And we can certainly answer any other comments, but I think Ms. Gaccione probably is asked upon to go next. Thank you very much.
Again, Courtney Gaccione, Essex County Council. As Mr. Chalella has indicated, it is the recommendation not only of Connor Strong but of the administration that we move into the state health benefits plan due to the enormous cost savings that's going to be recognized by the County of Essex. There's been some comments tonight, again, by the members of the local unions that have appeared regarding the standard of equal to or better than. The county's very strong position is that the benefits offered under the state health benefit plan are equal to or better than the current benefits that are being provided by Aetna at the current County of Essex plan. In addition, there are not only just equal provisions that are being provided. In many categories, there are better benefits that are being provided at lower costs. In just about every single category, employees are going to be recognizing decreased premiums. What they'll be paying on a biweekly basis to contribute in contribution for the health care costs are actually going to be going down. In addition, there are many other coverage benefits that they're not currently recognizing that they will get under the state plan. For example, their maximum out-of-pocket in the most popular state plan, the PPO 10 plan, is $400. That's compared to approximately $12,000 for your maximum out-of-pocket that you're currently recognizing under your Aetna plan with the county. There's also a choice of 9 plans under Aetna with the state and 9 plans under Horizon. If you're currently in an Aetna plan, which you are with the County of Essex, you can stick with all of your Aetna doctors. You're not going to be forced to change providers. And in fact, you're going to be able to recognize a expanded Aetna network. If you prefer Horizon, as we had about 5 years ago before we switched to Aetna, you can go back to your Horizon doctors. All of these comparisons have been provided to the unions. There was an indication by Mr. Triosi from FOP 106 that the county has made considerable efforts to get this information to the unions, both the leadership and the members, over the last 2 weeks. We recognize and appreciate the compressed time frame in which the union membership is being asked to look at these issues and process the information. We recognize that it is a lot of information to take in and digest. However, as Mr. Chalella indicated, the reason for the compressed time frame is that the contract with Aetna expires December 31st. There is a need to be in and covered by the state health benefits plan by January 1. With a 90-day requirement by the state, we need to give them notice no later than October 1st. And I believe that's Saturday. So we need to get an approved resolution by this board down to the state by the end of this week, so that we can be ready and able to go into the plan effective January 1. I'm happy to take any questions that you have, and again, Connor Strong is here as well if you have any questions specific to the plan coverage issues.
Mr. Paul-Vecchio?
Thank you. Ms. Gaccione, can you clarify one of the statements that was made regarding the level of consent that is required to make the switch to the state health benefits plan? One of the statements was all of the bargaining units would have to unanimously agree in order for the county to then make the move to state health benefits plan. Is that a correct statement?
I will clarify that statement, and I did hear that comment as well. The requirement pursuant to the state regulations, and it is included in the resolutions you have in front of you, what you have in front of you is the county resolution that we're asking you to pass tonight. Attached to it are 2 resolutions for the current active employees as well as retirees. The language in the state's resolutions, which we're required to approve, requires that all employees move into the state health benefits plan. It cannot be a portion of the county employee population. So we don't have the option to cherry pick a group or select a specific union or group of employees in which we're putting into the plan and those we're going to leave out. It has to be an all or nothing approach. So that is the 100% requirement that has been referred to. With regard to union approval, the county executive as well as the administration has communicated to the unions that we are seeking their approval, we are requesting their approval to ease this transition into the state health benefits plan and to work with us in trying to avoid the $10.8 million increase we were going to be recognizing if we stuck with Aetna through the 2017 contract year. However, it is not a requirement of the state or the state health benefits plan that we have 100% approval through all of the union bargaining agreements.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Freeholders? Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Richardson?
I have a question. In terms of percentages, you said that it's not required to have 100%. What is the percentage of the unions at this moment who have agreed?
We have 26 bargaining units. Of those 26, 24 have agreed and to move into and given us their consent to move into the state health benefits plan. 1 has said no, and 1 union has scheduled their vote for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Freeholder Seabold?
I have a couple of questions and statements. First of all, you said that there would be a budget impact of over $10 million. Is that correct?
If I may. Thank you, Madam Freeholder. The expected increase from Aetna...
State your name and affiliation
I'm sorry.
again.
It's Joseph DeBella with Connor Strong and Buckaloo. The expected increase from Aetna is in that $10 million range. So if the county was to simply renew with Aetna, its health benefits budget on a gross basis would go up in excess of $10 million. As a result of moving to the state health benefits plan, the number stays relatively close to what it is in this current budget period. As a result of that, the county's share obviously does not go up. And then commensurately, your employees, who share a very significant portion of the cost from a Chapter 78 perspective, will also not have to bear their portion of that $10 million increase.
So if we don't leave Aetna and we stay with them, that means that a number of jobs in the county will have to be cut. Is that correct?
All I can comment on, Madam Freeholder, is that if the county was to maintain its current position with Aetna, the county's health benefit cost for medical and prescription coverage would go up in excess of $10 million. And your employees would also feel a very significant increase in their share from a Chapter 78 contribution. I'm sincerely not familiar with what that impact would do to the balance of your operating budget, but it would certainly go up by at least $10 million.
I have another statement to make. I retired after teaching in West Orange for 30 years. At one point in my teaching career, we had a health benefit plan that was not with the state. And then the Board of Education proposed that we move to a state health benefit plan. And of course, the faculty was very upset about the change. They really were, and they didn't want to have the change. But it did occur, and it went through, and I have to tell you, it was fine. And as a retired teacher, I have my state health benefits now, and there is absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. I can choose my doctors. I have no restrictions. And it's not a problem at all. So those who work for the county who think it will be a problem, I think are not understanding that there is absolutely no problem with it. Thank you.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
We've been down this road before, and one thing is clear is that the health care infrastructure in the United States is in need of an incredible reform. Right. In light of that, when given an opportunity to really meet the needs of our employees with a financial decision that makes sense to the county being fiscally responsible, I can't imagine why on earth we would not do that. Compared to last year, the state is offering a 0.1 reduction on the rate providing the same services. Now, that being said, if this is not true, after this is all done, I'm voting for. If this is not true, then people, even us, need to be held accountable. But from what I understand, and I'm making an informed decision based on the information that I've been given, I'm making that decision today. Thank you.
Freeholders. Freeholder Toro?
So, as Freeholder Bobadilla stated, we've been down this road before. That was before I got in office. But it's my understanding that I believe last year there were negotiations with the unions, and ultimately we paid an extra $5 million to stay on the same benefits.
Through you, Madam President, I think when the analysis was done, there was minimal cost savings between the existing Aetna program and the state health benefits program, and the decision was made to stay with Aetna last year. Okay, so it's going up now, $10.5 million. I do believe next year we'll be in this predicament again. If it's not 10, it'll probably be more. And some of my primary responsibilities on this board is to make sure that taxpayer dollars are spent wisely, to promote economic development in Essex County, not the opposite. And layoffs, in my opinion, are the last resort that I'd like to exhaust. I would like to keep our 3,500 employees and for them to stay on the payroll, keep foods on their table, a roof over their head, and for their families to be well. So this is what's on my mind when I am considering this vote. And I too am a state worker and have the state benefits, and I don't have any complaints personally, nor have I heard any from my colleagues. That's it. Thank you.
Fredo Luciano.
Thank you, Madam President. Just for the record, I've been a member of this Freeholder Board for over 5 years. I know Mr. DeBella has been dealing with myself and my colleagues for the last few years. And I can say that over the last few years, I had been a big supporter of considering going into the state health benefit plan. Personally, for the last 12 years as a public school teacher, I've been part of the state health benefit plan. I find it to be just what I need. I've never had a problem. But the most important thing that I wanted to put on this record was not just that I'm supporting it tonight, I mean, especially because I've been supporting this for many years prior, but I think that as freeholders, we're here through 2017. We're all up for re-election at the end of next year. So I can tell you, and I can rest assured to any of the union members or any employees, that if this plan doesn't work this year, and we go into the state health benefit plan, and Mr. DeBella can vouch for this, that we can sit back here, correct Mr. DeBella, next year, and opt out of the state plan and right back into Aetna. Is that true?
It is, Joseph DeBella with Connor Strong and Buckaloo. To the freeholder's point, public entities have the ability to enter the state plan and exit the state plan without restraint, with the following exception. You need to pass a resolution 90 days ahead of time to get in, and you need to pass a resolution 60 days ahead of time to get out. So the county is not in any way endearing itself to having to stay in the state health benefit plan for an extended period. In fact, it has been the direction of this Board of Chosen Freeholders and the direction of the county executive to every single year look at private plans and look at the state plan to determine which is the most cost advantageous to employees, recognizing the county share and your workers' share. So you are exactly correct, Freeholder.
Right, and I appreciate you putting that on the record because I think that that's very important. Again, I plan on supporting this resolution tonight, but come a year from now, if things don't work out, you know, the folks that are in this room tonight or those watching on TV know how to get in touch with their freeholders. I want to congratulate and commend everyone who was part of the county administration that was able to quickly get this done. As a labor leader and a union member myself, I definitely can understand the perspective of things that happen quickly. I do want to, as a freeholder and a legislator, apologize to anybody or any employee that feels like this is happening so fast that they haven't had time to review. But unfortunately, we only have a short window. As has been stated, October 1st, this resolution, if we're going forward, needs to be down at the state level. But I'm sure going forward, as the county has done in the last 2 weeks, at least on the administrative end, has been very helpful. I know that we will continue with the help of your company. Thank you, Mr. DeBella. With any questions that anyone has, or especially the transition going forward. We all know that could be a scary time too, when we have, I guess, a new quote-unquote open enrollment for many different programs that folks don't know. So I want to thank you, Madam President, for letting me put that on record.
Thank you, Freeholder Luciano. Freeholders?
I too will.
Freeholder Jones?
Okay. I too will support this resolution because what was explained to me that it would not increase any type of financial burden on urban towns and the citizens. The taxes are high as they are. And for us to allow the administration to engage with an insurance company of $10 million, and we can look in terms of the state plan, and there is no increase in the policy or the services that is rendered, and it's basically, it's no different than the one that you had previously. I am a union person. I really and truly want to support you, but at the same time, I represent the whole county. In many of these urban areas, distressed areas, the taxes are high as is. And we just can't afford another $10 million that's going to be split that we as taxpayers must add up. And not only this, you as employee will increase in terms of paying towards your insurance more. So with those things in mind that was given to me through the county exec and his staff and the legal department, I had no other choice but to trust them and hope that it works, and if it doesn't work, then we can come back to the table. But right now, there's no increase, and we must, and I'm speaking especially, and I am an at-large person, but I live in an urban setting, and we just don't have the extra money for county taxes. Thank you.
Freeholders? You know, when we're sworn into office, there's a lot of excitement that occurs, of course, but there's also a lot of anticipation, and it's anticipation for those decisions that we know are going to be tough. This Freeholder Board is a pro-union board. This Freeholder Board, make no mistake about it, we were the first governing body in the entire state who said that we should pay people $15 an hour minimum wage and sent a resolution down to the state. And as you know, we also then brought up all those who were employees of the county, with the exception of seasonal, to $15 an hour. Project labor agreements you can count on us to ensure that those are going to be in place. I look out at my colleagues, and most of them, if not all, either belong to a union because of their positions or their careers outside of being elected, or are union leaders themselves, as I look over to Freeholder, Richardson, and Luciano. I myself, I'm a product of it. My father's in a teachers union, and we spend a great deal of time having conversations about what it means and the importance of union, and how we are absolutely anti-union busting. But sometimes, whenever the decisions have to be made, it's not always easy. But when I look at saving taxpayers $10 million, I agree with my colleague Freeholder Jones, especially in urban areas, or just low to moderate income people, even in suburban areas. They simply just don't have it. I hear our county executives speak often, whether or not it's at the State of the County address or while he's out and about doing ribbon cuttings at parks. And he's very proud of the fact that we have never had to lay off since his executive term, or terms, I should say. Since he has been county executive, we have never had to lay off anyone. So when we also hear that the impact of not supporting this resolution would be either to pass a $10 million bill to our taxpayers, or to lay off 250 people who work here at this county, I have to support this resolution. I have to support this resolution. How can I go back to the community and say, well, these high county, taxes that you're paying, they're going to go up higher? How can I look any one of those 200 or 250 people who could potentially be laid off in the face and say, well, we had to do what we had to do? The information that was presented to the Freeholder Board, we vetted. We have had work sessions. We have had meetings with Connor Strong. We have meetings with the county administration, as well as the county council, as well as our council. We have spoken in great detail about what it is. And equal or better has also been discussed. I personally combed through the pros and the cons of doing this. And I personally looked at what it would mean for pregnant women. Is it equal or better? What would it mean for someone who is retired and gets sick? Is it equal or better? This has been vetted. And yes, it does seem as if it's being rushed. And in many ways, we are under the gun of time. But this is something that is not a new issue to this county. This has been discussed in previous years and was always a potential to occur. So here we are. We have to make this decision. And I just want you to know that because whatever our vote is here tonight, that we're going to continue to remain a pro-union board because it's the right thing to do. We support working people and we support working families, and we respect every single union leader sitting out there tonight, as well as those who aren't here tonight. And we respect the work that you do. But as you just heard, what our deliberations have been, either internally or public, as I'm making them now, we're going to have to call the vote. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay. Moved by Freeholder Bobadilla.
I'll second it.
Second by Freeholder Seabolt. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Seabolt.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you.
Oh, and Freeholder Vice President Gill is absent.
Okay. Mr. Chilella, before we read it into the record, number 2, advice and consent, is there a representative here?
Yes, I believe Mr. Wong is with us this evening.
Okay. Madam Clerk, we're going to move to our regular order of our meeting. Please read resolution number 2 as resolution 1, and 3 through 30 were already read into the record.
Resolution 2, advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Raymond Wong to the Essex County Planning Board.
Please come forward, Mr. Wong.
Madam President, I'd like to present to you Raymond Wong, who will be serving in the position as Essex County Planning Board member. Mr. Wong is filling a vacant slot, and his term will run through December 31st of 2019. Mr. Wong?
Hello, everyone. My name is Raymond Wong. I thank you very much for the opportunity to be appointed to the Planning Board. I don't have any prepared remarks.
Tell us a little about yourself and how it relates to the Essex County Planning Board.
Sure. My name is Raymond Wong. I recently served on the Milburn Board of Ed in my town in Milburn. We've lived in Milburn for about 5 years, my wife and I, and our 2 young children. I'm an engineer by trade. I went to school at West Point. I graduated in '99, served our country as a field artillery officer, and I've continued on. I've also served as an adjunct professor here in Essex County at NJIT, and I've got a lot of wealth of knowledge in terms of mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, engineering services, as we design buildings for many different clients from Rutgers, the New York City School Construction Authority, Prudential, MetLife, so we've got quite a few clients in our portfolio. But I look here to serve the county in the best way that I can, which is just rolling up my sleeves and working.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wong.
Sure.
Freeholders? Freeholder Sebo?
Thank you. Mr. Wong, I read your resume, and it's really quite extensive. You have a wonderful background, and I'm so pleased that you're willing to give your time to devote attention to the Essex County Planning Board, and I'm happy that the county executive chose to have you be represented there. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Freeholder Luciano?
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to welcome Mr. Wong. Mr. Wong, thank you for your service to our country, and we really appreciate you willing to also step up and represent the County of Essex on your spare time with everything else that I saw in your resume. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
I burn the candle at both ends.
You must.
Freeholder Bobadilla, is that your hand?
Thank you for sharing your talents with us. You have quite an extensive resume.
Thank you.
Freeholders? Freeholder Jones?
I just want to say that I concur with my colleagues, and I want to welcome you to the Essex County Board and wish you the best of luck, because we need people who are very smart and has the opportunity to render service to Essex County. Congratulations.
Thank you. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Freeholders? Thank you so much for your willingness and your talent. We recognize that this is, volunteering, and we really truly appreciate that, as we know how valuable time is. And it is our practice, just so you know, in the future, we do have reappointments also come back before us. So whenever your reappointment is up, just because we like to hear about updates and what's going on the advisory board and what the experience has been like and what the accomplishments are. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you very much.
All right. Freeholders, is there any reason, or not necessarily reason, but is there any need to extract from a vote for any resolution 1 through 30? Is there any resolution that needs to be extracted? Every resolution was read into the record and discussed. at our last Freeholder Board meeting? Okay, freeholders? Do I have a mover and a second to take resolutions 1 through 30?
Together.
Moved by Freeholder Jones, together. Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Are there any report of board committees? Any legislative reports? Any written communication? Any unfinished business? Okay, now moving to public comment session. Any new business to discuss? Now moving to public comment session. If there's any member of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all, please come forward. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect we have no member of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all. Public comment session is now closed. We're opening up freeholder comment session. Freeholders, I would just like to say that Freeholder Vice President Gill, as all of you may know, has lost his grandfather. Please keep him and his family in your prayers. The services, I believe, are in Connecticut, but please reach out. Also, I wanted to say what a fabulous program hosted by Freeholder Toro as well as Freeholder Bobadilla. It is celebrating Hispanic, Latino culture, and amazing honorees, truly, that are making a difference every single day. And the third announcement literally just hit my desk. So I wanted to announce it tonight for anybody that wanted to come. Tomorrow at 11:30, the grandson of Nelson Mandela will be here in our office suite just for greeting, and he'll be presented with a quick resolution. So if any freeholder would like to be there, I do understand that there is a ribbon cutting. I had RSVP'd for yes to be at that ribbon cutting, but unfortunately I'm going to have to, I will not be there at the park tomorrow. I will be here to greet the grandson of Nelson Mandela, and all of you are invited to participate in my office suite.
What time?
11:30. Okay, Freeholder Richardson?
Is that resolution done via acclamation? If not, I'd like to be
Absolutely. Anyone else?
May we all be included?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
We're going to do it by acclamation.
Acclamation,
That's what absolutely. We're going to do it by acclamation.
Madam President, now the ribbon cutting is going to be at Wheatray Park, and it includes Horse Reef and Milton, Mooson. So therefore, I won't be able to attend the ribbon cutting because it starts at 12.
Yes.
Unless you would do it at 11 o'clock and let me out of there in 15 to 20 minutes.
I understand. And this was something that maybe an hour before our freeholder meeting begun, tonight, that we were asked to do. And it will unfortunately be at 11:30 because I wanted to be at that ribbon cutting as well. But to pay respect for someone like Nelson Mandela, I figured that the best decision would be for me to be in place here while the Freeholder Board is represented well at the ribbon cutting. So I just ask anyone who is representing the Freeholder Board to please announce that I am in support of what we're doing the ribbon cutting for, but unfortunately due to the obligation with Nelson Mandela's grandson that I had to stay behind here at the Hall of Records. If you would be so kind to mention that. Anyone else? Okay, motion to adjourn?
Move it.